So with AI Gen like Seedance 2.0 and Kling 3.0, we are now moving into a different stage in this AI filmmaking game. The generator itself is not going to matter that much because the quality of the generators keeps improving literally almost every 3 months, it seems. And as a side note for all the haters, remember those words us AI creators kept muttering? 2025, 2024, the AI you see today is going to be the worst it will ever be? Yeah, I'm a nerd. I like being right. And I'm usually right most of the fucking time. We are now at the stage where we were in regular filmmaking when DSLRs came out. Doesn't matter how fancy your camera is, if your story sucks and if your film looks like you don't know what the hell you're doing, no one will watch anything you're doing. So the same that was true with independent filmmaking, which still is today, if you were using mirrorless cameras, is becoming even more true with AI filmmaking. So again, Seedance 2.0, Kling 3.0. AI generators are going to become the new DSLR, the new mirrorless camera. You'll have your various brands to choose from. Some will have different quirks that people will prefer over another, same way we do with Sony versus Canon. And now, the only thing that's going to matter is your story and your cinematography. And what I want to do in this video is explore the pre-visualization phase in traditional filmmaking, also known as previs, and show you how you can apply AI image editing to storyboard either your entire short film or segments of your film. And even more importantly, if you have no idea what you want to do with that pretty image that you generated, I'm going to show you how to use this simple image editing workflow to get those creative juices going and plan out your first or next short film or cinematic sequence if you're just testing things out. And with that said, let's get right into the video. Now, one of the first things I want to do is to break down exactly what you're seeing here. Oftentimes in the comments, I see that people say that they are very intimidated by these node-based workflows. And just from a bird's eye view, if you're looking at this, you might say that, hey, this is a mess. And I would say it's my mess, but I understand the entire mess in its entirety. So stick with me through the end because I'm pretty convinced that you're going to agree with me that going forward, especially at the pace that AI is advancing, node-based workflows are going to be the way forward. And the reason I created this workflow is because, again, if you think about these new tools like Kling 3.0 and Seedance 2.0, which is supposedly delayed as of this video because of all the issues with Hollywood trying to get it shut down, we're kind of past the point to where our AI characters can remain looking plastic. They look more realistic than ever. A lot of these image models have fixed the issue of missing limbs or multiple limbs. I still know that that's an issue with Flux. Fingers can be fixed. And even with the video generators themselves, character drift to where the character looks exactly how they are supposed to during the first few seconds of the video. And then you notice that they slowly start to morph into something else. Again, Kling 3.0 and likely Seedance 2.0 mostly has solved this issue. And so what I'm getting at is the focus is going to shift less on the incremental improvements of the video models, and it's going to focus more on your ability to have great looking cinematic images, photorealistic characters if that's what you're going for, and having repeatable workflows around that so that you can get the cinematic scenes you need pretty quickly. And so again, on this board is what I classify, which is a term from actual filmmaking, which is called previs, or you may also know it as storyboarding. But I'm not necessarily storyboarding a particular short film in this particular workflow. This is just kind of a creative brain dump. And before we get too far in the video, because I know it's going to come up, someone's always leaving this comment below my videos. Hey, Paul Donis, how do you get those attractive characters? I've already clearly laid this out in the AI Cinematographer's Playbook. I know it works because guess what? I've got over 200 students. Not a single one of them has emailed me and said, dude, this method does not work, because it does. And I have videos where I clearly walk through it, where all you need is a decent face shot that you can generate from Midjourney. And with the prompts I give you, it does everything else. So if you're looking to create attractive characters like I do, then be sure to check out the AI Cinematographer's Playbook, where I walk you through that in some very short, simple lessons, quick, straight to the point, and then that can serve the basis for the rest of everything you do within your cinematic universe. So again, go below this video and click the link or scan the QR code on your screen and check out the AI Cinematographer's Playbook while it's still cheap. So if I haven't mentioned this already, the tool I'm using is called Flora AI. And if you want to get started for free with this tool, then be sure to use my partner link, because not only will you get free credits, but if you decide to take them up on a subscription, you will get a discount on your first year. And you only get that through my partner link. So be sure to use that if you do decide that you want to check out this awesome tool. It's no extra cost to you, but it definitely helps the channel out. Thanks in advance. So again, at a bird's eye view, you have no real context as to what's going on here, but I'm going to show you how I kick things off so that it starts to make sense. And for that, we're going to scroll over here to what I call the kickoff board. And basically how I did this was I imported all of the images I already generated, and when I highlighted them all, because they weren't in this format, there's a button up here that you can click that says auto format, and based on the number of images there was, it laid out this grid. And once I did that, I then clicked on this button, which will allow you to group the images. Right now they're already grouped, so if I clicked on this, it would ungroup them. But the benefit of having things grouped is because you can move them all around at one time. And honestly, if you think about it, this looks like a storyboard. This is where you kick things off. And it's not going to say kickoff board. I literally just double clicked in there and typed in what I needed. And another tip, just FYI, if you're wondering how I'm scrolling in and out on a Mac, I'm holding the command key and I have a magic trackpad mouse thingy with my iMac. And so all I'm doing is just taking my fingers and scrolling toward this side of the screen. You want to point the mouse where you want to go and then scroll that way. So I just want to mention that because you're going to see me zooming in and out a lot and you're probably wondering how I'm doing it. That's the magic trick. Okay, so now that you know how I got started, let me show you exactly what all this means for image editing, especially when it comes to AI cinematic filmmaking. Okay, let's talk about a basic image editing process. So you've got your storyboard here, and let's say that we want to turn the hair of this redhead into blonde. Now, you may assume that this should be a pretty straightforward process, but oftentimes, depending on which image editor you're using, as well as the prompt that you input, it may or may not work. So here is the other advantage of using something like Flora AI. If we scroll down here, we can see all of the image editors all at once. And there's actually some image editors missing from this grid, such as Nano Banana Pro and another image editor that's up and coming called Riverflow, which is, in my testing, just as good as Nano Banana Pro, and I'll get into that in maybe another video. But the reason those two are not here is because of moderation, basically. So imagine if you only had a subscription to Google Ultra, which would include Nano Banana, I guess. Haven't had that expensive ass Ultra plan in a very long while. Or if you only had subscribed to Riverflow 2.0. You get in there, you drop in your assets you created, and they won't do what you need it to do. Flora makes it easy to see all of that all at once. We see that Quinn Image Edit Plus did the trick. Quinn Image Edit, Seadring 4.5, Flux 2 Klein 9B, Flux 2 Klein 4B. That probably was a mistake because I meant to do Flux 2 Max, but I mean, it still pulled it off. Grok Imagine and Z-Image Turbo. And I just remembered that I did make this comment to remind me that Riverflow 2.0 and Nano Banana refused to generate this image. So again, it's not to say that this is going to happen with Nano Banana and Riverflow on every image that you create. It's just that if you're doing what I'm doing, then you may run into these issues. If not, nothing to worry about. But what you should also notice is that I've ranked them based on how I thought they all performed. And as you can see right here with Grok, it didn't do as well of a job. With the blonde hair, it still looks a bit reddish, but it's not too bad. And Z-Image Turbo just failed completely. And in fact, it almost looks like it changed the character. Then it also changed the thing that was like a iPad, where she was holding it with her fingers, to where it's shrunk down to like an iPhone, an older iPhone, and she's gripping it with her thumb as well. And then also this craziness going on in the display there. So what I've found is Z-Image Turbo is hit or miss, but you may want to check it out just to see for yourself. Now, the reason why I'm able to achieve that perfect character lock with minimal drift is because, one, the models are getting smarter. And if you weren't really paying attention to, whenever the next Gemini 3.1 or Sonnet 4.6 or Grok 4.2, you should understand that they're using those same models in their image gen architecture. So as the models get smarter, then everything on the AI generation side gets vastly better as well in terms of understanding prompt adherence, checking itself, making sure it's actually doing what you're asking. So again, all of that ties in, and you may get fatigued because it's like almost every other month a new LLM model is dropping. Just know that it's all for the best. first. But the second thing is the actual prompt itself. The other cool thing about setting up these workflows in Flora is that you can have a node that has a prompt, and it's basically like an AI agent, and its only job is to do this thing over and over again and to do it over and over again well. And again, it's a very long prompt, and I'm not going to read through all of it, but what I will do is I will duplicate this workflow and I will give you guys a version of it, and it's going to have all of the prompts that I use within this workflow. And what you're going to find is that it's going to be locked because, again, I don't want to accidentally delete something in the prompt itself. So that's why I just lock it down, and then if I need another one to where I'm just going to modify something specific to the prompt to work for something else, then I do that, and I'm going to show you exactly a version of that in just a sec. Now, in terms of rigging this up, this is the only thing I did. I took the node out of this image, which again, it's not connected to anything else. I just uploaded it and added it to the canvas. I took the node out of this, created a new node for an image, and you select something like Seedream 4.5. This says auto because it's mimicking the same size of the image of the source image, which is great, so you don't have to monkey with it. And then you also want the output of the prompt to go into the input of this new node, and as you can see, the prompt shows up as well as the reference image. And then you can either hit enter or you can change the amount of gens you want to happen. This thing gets kind of crazy. I usually don't do more than 3 or 5 at a time, and that would just be for Seedream 4.5. and then you would just duplicate this. It's going to keep everything connected. Then you would just change this to something like FluxCline 9B, and you do have to watch some of these because they will kind of change, and that's fine if you're not trying to figure out exactly what the original size was. I think it says, yeah, so you're not going to get that exact same aspect ratio, but 9 times out of 10 you're going to be good with what you get. Unless it's a 16:9, make sure you select 16:9. And again, at a zoomed out view, you can see what's going on. This is connected to the source image and connected to this prompt box. Same thing with this one, same rigging, and if you want it, you can highlight them both at the same time and hit enter, and it will generate everything that you see on the right. And yet here is another example of how powerful this image editing technology is, because let's say you wanted to turn that tablet that she was holding into a futuristic blaster, which is exactly what I told this prompt over here, and notice how it's the exact same female. The only difference is the type of blaster she's holding, which are these right here. These over here are upscales. Just before I forget to mention that, this is Topaz and this is Magnific Precision. But now the only focus is which image editor does it best. And before I forget, the rigging for this one is basically out of this batch right here from this prompt, I decided on the one that I thought was the best, and I used that as the new reference image for the batches down here. So again, it's another image node, and then you connect the prompt box to the image node, and then you tell the prompt that you want a futuristic blaster. And again, you can stand them up by the various editors to see how they perform. Now, before I forget, I do want to mention something in the prompt itself for those of you who are going to download the workflow. What you need to change is only this right here, where it says change only the following. This is where you put in the changes that you want to happen, which is what I said right here. Change the pink tablet in her hand to a large black futuristic blaster. Then I also said remove the pink cord from the photo, do not change the woman's pose. So again, now the only thing that you as the creator, as the filmmaker, has to worry about is who did exactly what you asked for. Seedream 4.5 usually has the best aesthetic, but it sometimes sucks at prompt adherence. As you can see, there's a hand still on the hood, and this looks more like a rifle, but I mean, I guess it could be a blaster. I still like the photo. I could take this and further edit it by, you know, maybe drawing a green circle right here and saying remove the hand off the hood, and it would do it. But again, I've got so many options that I could just pull from something that I've already gotten, which I actually like this one the best out of all of them. But this kind of looks weird because the hand should probably be behind that, and this is in the way of that. That's why the hand is kind of forced up here. But out of all of them, I think Grok Imagine nailed it. I like the blaster, and it kept the look. And it's funny because Grok Imagine is one of those image models that people sleep on for the most part, other than people who spend a lot of time on X or Twitter. But Grok is becoming a huge contender in this space. And again, I aligned these based on which ones I thought were best to worst. And again, if you don't like what generated, you could literally just highlight these and spin the button again and see what you get the next time. And as you can see, some of them are already generating, and I kind of like this one from Seedream 4.5. Let's check it out. So again, you don't know what you're going to get, so don't just limit yourself to only rolling the generation once. And again, as you can see, Z Image Turbo performed the worst. It still kept the little pad, and it didn't and change the pad into a blaster. So again, that's one of the unlocks for using something like Flora AI, is to line out these image generators, these video generators, and you can really see who's lying about their Trust Me Bro benchmarks. And again, if you find something you like and you want to upscale it, all you have to do is come here, drag this out, click on the image button, and then scroll down to find Topaz and Magnific. I believe that's the only upscalers in Flora at the moment, and they're actually the best on the market, so you really don't need anything else. And they're showing up here because I have them pinned. That's another feature that you can do within Flora. You can pin the models that you know that you're going to be using the most, so that way you're not just scrolling through a bunch of stuff that you know that you're not going to spend a lot of time with. Okay, so the next few image editing features I want to cover are specific to Flora, and what they've done is basically created, I guess you could say, AI agents. And just like that node that I created with the image editing prompt instructions, these agents have one specific purpose, and I'll show you what they look like right now. So if you go over here to this strip, you can look at this little icon right here that says techniques. I'm going to click on that, and then this window pops up, and you'll see that you can either scroll to the right or just scroll down. And what they've done is created, again, like some AI agent presets, and they only perform one specific function. So the ones that I've got on my canvas right now is the outfit extraction and replacement one. I've also got this cinematic stills generator, and if you want to see more, you just click on view more details and it tells you what it does. I see here that it has tags, but that's not going to matter because I'm going to explain it to you in just a minute. It's not really a good thing or a bad thing. This thing will be really dope in the future, but again, we'll get to it. And then the last one I have on my canvas right now is this aspect ratio iterator, and let me just show you what some of this stuff looks like. So let's look at the outfit extraction and replacement technique, and let's just pop back over to this thing just so that you see exactly what it does. The input it takes is a model / pose reference image, and then the second input it takes is the garment reference image. This could be like this is right here where the garments are laid out, or it can actually be on the person as you see up here in this little animation. Both of those inputs output the outfit replacement. And what I ended up trying was I took this photo right here, and this is what I wanted to use for the model / pose, and this was the outfit I wanted to give the reference image. So these are the two inputs, and so as not to confuse you, what I did was I was trying something else. This was after I did it, but I basically came up here to tools and said remove background, or I did something like split layers. I think that's what it was. Honestly, I don't remember at this point. Actually, it says remove background, so I guess that's what I did. I don't remember why I did it. Maybe it was just something I just wanted to try out, but just know that that feature exists so that you don't have to use Nano Banana and stuff like that to do a background removal. Anyway, so again, model pose connected at the top to this that says exactly that. And yeah, my mistake. Once I removed the background, I connected this image as the garment reference. And honestly, I think this is a much more cleaner way to do it, and that's what I'd recommend. And when I ran this prompt, this is what I got as an output. Now, back to what I was talking about a bit earlier. It did what we asked it, but you notice that the woman has socks on her feet, right? Well, she also has socks on in the reference image. And the thing is, this other thing that we're doing the garment transfer off of, this other reference image, it's a cowboy shot. It's not a full body shot. So therefore, we don't have any details like the boots and stuff like that. And her hands are like this because, you know, if you saw in the original image, she's holding onto a ledge. But the problem with this particular agent as it stands, you have no way of giving it any instructions, because I think that would defeat the purpose. Like, you know, why not just do a text node and do all the stuff that I just showed you a little bit ago? This I like. It's clean. It's like, hey, you do this and you do this every single time. But again, it doesn't know that it should give it some boots. I don't even think it did it in this image, right? So no. And again, this will vary as well just based on this image. So it could be also due to the reference image itself. So we can't blame it entirely on the tool. And I think I ran it again and got the same results. This one came out a little bit more sharper. If you go back to this image right here, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it can all be cleaned up by upscaling, but I'm not planning to do anything with this photo. I was just using it as an example. But this is a handy wardrobe transfer tool. But again, for a future state, it would be cool to just have a little box where you can say, you know, this should be a one-piece jumper and she should have boots that are black tactical boots. You know, just something to add a little bit more just to make sure you get exactly what you want. The other option is to do something like, let's say if I wanted to take this image, which is another example of this same thing that I just showed you, and notice that this image has a hat, corset, dress thingy, and the boots. I would say this is a much better image to use for something like this because it has everything. Or you could go over to something like Midjourney, or you could stay within Flora, do it as well, and and you can create a node and you can use Nano Banana and say, hey, split all of these clothing articles into layers, get that image of the layers, then use that image of the layers as the garment reference image. Because again, if you look at the technique itself and you click view details, they've got something like that going on right here. There's pants, there's a shirt, there's shoes. Actually, this is so small, it's a dress shirt with a tie, shoes, and maybe a jacket. I don't know. It's so small you can't click on it. Let me see if I can click this and if it does anything. No. So anyway, but you could do something like that as well. Before I forget, the other thing I want to note as well with these little techniques is that they do get moderated, and it's not something that Flora can control. For instance, one of these, I don't remember if it's the outfit extraction replacement or the cinematic stills generator. I'm going to click in here. This is what was open when I got this error message. It didn't say what the model was here, but in this other one, it clearly mentions Nano Banana. It says violates the guidelines of Nano, but this one was open. So maybe all of them are Nano Banana, and then sometimes it tells you it's Nano Banana, and then sometimes it doesn't, or maybe some of them are Nano Banana and some of them are something else. But basically, I took this image right here and I was trying to do the cinematic stills technique, and it would not play along with that. Again, this is nothing Flora can control. The moderation is coming from the API itself. The next thing we're going to look at is this aspect ratio iterator. And again, before I forget, just remember guys, all we're doing here is pre-visualization. We're just wanting to get some ideas of what some of this stuff could look like. So none of this has to be perfect. It just is to give you a spark, help you ignite your creativity. Because to be honest with you, this is exactly how I came up with that little short film sequence testing that I did where I placed the short on the channel. I got the idea from doing exactly this. So let me just zoom back in down here to this aspect ratio generator or iterator. And what it does is take your reference image, again, it's this chick right here, and it's going to give you a 16:9, 4:3, 9:16, 21:9, and 3:2. Now, here's the thing, going back to what I was talking about with previs, I already had said to myself, and in fact, I almost didn't use this because I was like, well, I only need 16:9. I don't need 4:3. I don't need 9:16. I don't need 21:9. I don't need those aspect ratios. But this is what I got. And then that's when I got the idea, well, hey, I can turn this into a short, because I took the 9:16 and I upscaled it, and then I ran it through Kling 3.0 Pro and got this little animation right here. And then I got this other one where she walks and I think she turns around, because I was trying to see if I could do multi-shot prompting like you can over at Kling. And I might be doing this incorrectly because I did see a training where these guys pulled it off. It was a Flora training for creative partners. Actually, I think it's open to anyone who shows up to the call, to be honest with you. But anyway, that's why she turns around and then she walks the other way, because I was trying to have it cut to an over the shoulder shot. And so what I ended up doing was just taking the image that I upscaled over to Kling, and then that was the result of that short sequence that you saw.
Thank you for the lift.
So again, that's the only thing this technique does. Gives you a lot of various aspect ratios to play with. I would say for my intents and purposes, I'd be using the 16:9 and the 9:16. And if I wanted to get fancy and do something like replicate an anamorphic lens aspect ratio, then I would use this 21:9 aspect ratio. And then finally, the other image editing tool that can really help you out with your pre-visualization is this cinematic stills generator. And again, this is another technique that takes an input image and gives you 4 stills. Now, this goes back to what I talked about earlier about, remember we looked at the technique and it had those tags listed for the technique. And that was the reason why I said none of that mattered. I mean, it's specific to the technique itself, but you cannot come in here and say what you want still 1 to be, still 2 to be, how still 3 should come out, or how still 4 should come out. Basically, you just take an image and you run it a few times and it gives you an idea of what your scene could potentially look like. One of the things I will note is that it will help if your main character is looking off camera, like this woman is right here, which is an image I generated in Midjourney. That's why all of these have her not looking directly at the viewer. That's not the case with my steampunk chick. In the original image, she's looking at the viewer. That's why all of the ones that comes out has her looking at us. And then you'll also note that the background changes in all of them as well. You also deal with continuity, because right here you see that she's sitting in front of the van, but then over here, she's away from the van. And the same thing with this one right here. She's nowhere close to it, and now she's not sitting on that thing anymore. I'm just saying, if you were trying to stitch this together, the scene wouldn't make any sense because she's just moving all of these places around the van, and no one who's playing guitar is going to be moving to all these other different spots just to play the damn guitar. She's likely going to stay seated in that spot, play a few tunes, and then get in her van and drive off. So again, I don't want to sound like a broken record. All of this is just to help you get an idea of what you can do for planning out a narrative short film, and doing it with node-based workflows allows you to see all of that from a bird's eye view and to continue to just keep testing into infinity. Because at any time, if you want to see something happen with a different character, that's why I've got it set up like this. I just disconnect a node, find a character, connect it to the technique, or just again, come over here to the techniques, find one that you want to add, and click add it to the canvas. And the one thing I don't like is how it zooms all the way to hell over to the side whenever you add it to the canvas like that. So my recommendation to you when you want to add a technique to the canvas is to come here, click view details, and then copy it, and then go in the area where you want it to show up, then hit paste, and then you don't have all that craziness of it appearing way the hell out yonder, basically. And as I said earlier in the video, if you guys want to use this exact same workflow for free, I'm going to give you a copy of it that you can duplicate, and you can test out all of this image editing yourself. And you can see I've added the same prompt instructions blocks that, again, all you have to do is just unlock this, come in here and change what you need. I honestly wouldn't change much other than where it says change only the following. I actually use Claude Opus 4.6 to craft this prompt, and it's been working pretty flawlessly. But again, I'm going to lock this down so you don't mess anything up. I've also got this note. If you need to change or modify the prompt, just click unlock on the node. I basically locked them to keep you and myself from accidentally deleting something from the prompt. And again, just so you don't mess something up, if I were you, I'm going to hit Command D and I'm going to duplicate this. And then that way you have some backups and you've got one that you can pretty much destroy and put back together. And if you can't figure out why your stuff's no longer working, you've got this other node as a backup. But again, you've got that. I've given you some characters that you can play with, and you can try out outfit replacement, cinematic stills generator, and the aspect ratio iterator. And you don't have to use my images. You can add your own, and you don't have to use the same connections. You can delete all of these and reconnect them however you want. So again, if you want to use this workflow completely for free, just be sure to use my partner link for Flora AI, because not only will you get this free workflow, not only will you get free credits to test everything out, if you do decide to subscribe to Flora after you've used all of your free credits, you will get a discount on your first year, whether you're paying monthly or whether you're paying annually. You can find out about all of that and more either in the video description, or it may be in the first few comments below this video. So again, in terms of pre-visualization, these are some basic image editing tricks you can get started with to give you an idea of how to get the creative juices flowing to plan out your next short film. And there are a ton of other image editing tricks that can help you out with your AI film workflows, but I'll probably save those deep dives for the lessons in the how to make a movie module in the course, because I really like to nerd out on this stuff, and this video could easily turn into an hour-long video or more. So if I do it in the course, I can break things up and it's not as overwhelming. That type of teaching format doesn't work really well on YouTube. So do also make sure that you're enrolled in the AI Cinematographer's Playbook, because there's another bonus attached to the course right now. I've still not launched the AI Filmmaking Advantage community, but anyone who enrolls in the AI Cinematographer's Playbook, while it's still a standalone course, will get to lock in founder pricing, because the founder pricing for the community is going to be vastly different than for everyone else who didn't purchase the AI Cinematographer's Playbook. And basically, I'm doing it this way because I'm rewarding all of the people who gave my course a shot, which in turn helps me to invest more into the channel, and that is my way of saying thanks. But just know that the course is where you'd get a more structured step-by-step walkthrough of all of this stuff, and you can find out more information about the course below this video, or you can scan the QR code on your screen. Go ahead and check it out and get ready to learn the true fundamentals of filmmaking distilled down into AI filmmaking. And if you want to see future tutorials like this, then make sure you are subscribed to the channel and also hit that like button, because what both of those do is let YouTube know that you enjoy videos like these and that you want to be alerted to when we release the next one. Once again, my name is Paul Adonis Maximus. Thanks for checking out this video. Please join me in the next one.